welcome back to another Koze Daily Brew. Today we're going to be talking about how to change a habit. Now, I feel like I am just recently trying to change a few of my own habits, and this has just been like an ongoing theme. Even with people in my life, I feel like this topic has come up quite a bit. And so figured why not sit down, enjoy your nice morning beverage while we discuss all the things that at least I would say I feel like would come with trying to change a habit. Okay, so first things first. I feel like anytime I'm trying to change a habit, I always need to basically figure out why I want to change something. So if you have a strong enough why, no matter what you're trying to do in this life, when you have that strong enough why, you can always go back to that why whenever you feel your energy starting to falter, you know? So anytime that I'm trying to change a habit into a better one, or if I'm just trying to like get rid of an old bad habit, I need to know why. Either it's draining me, it's no longer serving me any purpose, it's something that is just taking up too much space in my life, or maybe it's just become so habitual but not really helpful, like in the sense of even just pessimistic thinking. Like a lot of the times it becomes so normal to think more pessimistically that in changing that habit, it's just one of those things that your why almost has to be like, because even though this is in my norm now, this isn't helpful for me, or this isn't helping me progress or grow as an individual or as a human on this earth. But whatever it is, you need to find a why that triggers some sort of emotional response, or at least I believe so, because when we really feel it down to our bones, when we feel it in our core and in our beings, then the change is bigger than us. The change becomes bigger than us because it becomes energy. It becomes a type of force that is more than just what you're thinking. It's more so like what you're needing and what you are trying to align yourself to. So anytime that I need to change a habit or build a new habit, I always start with my why. Like, why do I want to do this? And just take time, even if it takes you a few days to figure out why. If you're noticing that there's a bad habit you want to change, or if you're noticing that there's just a habit you want to get better at, or whatever it is, take a few days if you need to really establish that why, because you don't want your why to be half-ass. If your why is half-ass, then your ability or your efforts to make it change are going to be half-ass. So make sure your why and your purpose are very strong. The second thing I would say when it comes to changing a habit is that you can't ditch an old habit without replacing it with a new habit. And that includes like all things. I think that it's really hard to just stop doing something or to take something away from yourself without replacing it with something else, because our brains are going to instantly see that as a trigger, as a threat. Even when we end up falling into routines of bad habits, whether it's smoking, it can be eating badly, it could be talking poorly about people, no matter what, a lot of the times it's only just our ego in a way trying to protect ourselves. There might be something that made us feel like we were threatened for whatever reason. Even just, you know, when you think about breakups, a lot of people handle breakups in one of two ways. We either shut down, we lose our appetites, we lose our energy, and we basically fall into a sense of like deep depression. Or a lot of the times when we break up with somebody or somebody breaks up with us, we feel so overstimulated, so afraid, so fearful that we have no idea what we're going to do with our futures anymore, that, you know, maybe you start to eat really poorly, you start ordering pizza all the time, you just stop taking care of yourself and stop, you know, giving yourself what you need to find the faith that you're going to figure it out. And even those two things were triggered from you feeling threatened, and that threatened feeling is causing you to then gravitate towards a habit that might not necessarily be healthy, but it's making you feel safe right away in that moment. And that's totally human and totally normal. All of us do it. We all have bad habits because we feel threats, we feel triggered, and then we need to grab something that's going to instantly kind of make us feel a bit more grounded. And a lot of the times the fastest way to ground ourselves isn't always the healthiest. So how do we change it? You have to replace that threatening habit with a more, you know, sustainable habit or healthier habit. And that's not always easy to do, but I feel like, again, that's when you boil back down to your why. When you notice that you have these little things that trigger your feeling of being unsafe or threatened in whatever way, when you boil back down to that why, it's like, okay, why do I want to do this, and why am I not going to? Like, why do I feel like this made me feel really stressed? And normally when I'm stressed, even for me, I'm trying to rebuild like my coping mechanisms so that when I get really overwhelmed, my first reaction isn't to freak out or to get irritable or stressed out or cranky or to give up on myself. It's always like, okay, here I am, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed right now. instantly my brain wants to go to freak out mode, but what can I do instead? There needs to be, first of all, my reason why I can't freak out is because this is not helpful. This does not get me anywhere. This is not moving me forward or pushing through this problem. This is just literally freaking out. And yes, okay, freaking out and exerting that emotion might make me feel better for 5 seconds, but it still doesn't solve the problem and it leaves me feeling more depleted. So how do I change that habit? Okay, I know my purpose now, so I need to figure out a better way to deal with feeling overwhelmed. Okay, well, when I'm overwhelmed, why don't I instead build out a breathing habit rather than a freak out habit? So then instead, when I feel myself getting overwhelmed, that's the trigger of feeling unsafe. And instantly I feel the draw or the automatic response to want to freak out. And so that is the bad habit, but you stop yourself. You let your bad habit, or almost like your need to involve yourself or perform that bad habit as a trigger to be like, whoa, okay, now I'm gonna stop, and instead I'm gonna replace it with this good habit. So instead of freaking out, I'm just gonna do 3 yoga breaths and see how I feel. And then after you do that, you'll start to realize that it becomes easier and easier to reroute yourself to the better habit rather than the bad one, you know? So I would say in all, that is my, I guess, like condensed version of me being a little less chatty about how to change a habit, but I feel like I could ramble about this forever. Do you guys have any bad habits that you're trying to change? I just mentioned one of like my deeper bad habits because I think that I'm like, for so many years, I've been so prone to just freaking out when I'm overwhelmed that I'm trying to like, you know, rewire that into a better way, but also just some smaller bad habits are like just getting to bed right on time, like earlier in the night, you know, not pushing it so late, cutting people off. I'm really bad at doing that. When I'm in a public situation and people are talking and I get really excited about something, I'll like jump in and then I'm like, that was really rude. I need to do better at that. And so listening, I guess, is the better habit. I don't know why I'm listing these off to you guys. I'll leave you guys there. So I hope you guys are all enjoying your nice morning beverage and enjoyed hanging out with me. And leave your comment down below of any bad habits or habits in general that you're trying to form or change. And I'll talk to all of you guys tomorrow morning. Bye, guys.